Why do UPSC CSE toppers with sociology optional recommend Vikash Ranjan sir's sociology courses at Triumph IS, where strategy meets conceptual clarity and results follow? हजारों यूपीएससी अभ्यर्थियों का भरोसा, विकास सर का मार्गदर्शन, अब आपकी बारी।
With Vikas Ranjan sir.
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 विकास Ranjan point of
Vikas Ranjan sir की Vikas Ranjan sir की
विकास sir.
I am Gauri Bansal. I have secured All India rank 112 in the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2025. ये मेरा थर्ड अटैम्प्ट था। मेरा ऑप्शनल पॉलिटिकल साइंस एंड इंटरनेशनल रिलेशंस है। मेरा एजुकेशनल बैकग्राउंड भी पॉलिटिकल साइंस में है फ्रॉम लेडी श्री राम कॉलेज फॉर वुमेन दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी। एंड आज मैं आपसे एक शेयर करना चाहती हूँ अपनी जर्नी ऑफ माई UPSC प्रेपरेशन। एंड ऑल्दो आई स्टे इन फरीदाबाद, मैंने अपनी जर्नी कम्प्लीटली एंड टू एंड ऑनलाइन करी थी। इनफैक्ट द फर्स्ट टाइम आई गॉट अ चांस टू विजिट ORN और ओल्ड राजेंद्र नगर was right before my mock interview last year. So I would like to assure you that a lot of times we are stuck by FOMO or the fear of missing out on being in that mecca of UPSC prep. But in today's day and age, मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि आप अपनी जर्नी ऑनलाइन कर सकते हैं। आप अपनी जर्नी more importantly completely free resources, the resources that are available online, उन पे डिपेंड होके कर सकते हैं। एंड आपको कहीं भी और कोई डायरेक्शन में देखने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। येस, कोचिंग्स प्ले अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल समटाइम्स इन हेल्पिंग अस अंडरस्टैंड एंड रिकॉग्नाइज कि क्या इम्पॉर्टेंट है, कि किस चीज़ को कितना अटेंशन देना है, एंड टू मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंटली हेल्प अस होल्ड अकाउंटेबल। बट एट द सेम टाइम दीज आर ऑल थिंग्स दैट वी कैन ऑल्सो लर्न हाउ टू डू आवरसेल्व्स। तो माई endeavor through this video is to tell you that this preparation journey of yours can be done completely at home and completely free of cost, should you try to endeavor to do that yourself as well. So I would like to share a few resources that greatly helped me at every stage of the examination. So starting from the essay paper in mains, I think it is a very important paper and एक ऐसा paper है जिसका बहुत ही fluid nature होता है, no preset syllabus, and as in when we see that contemporary times में बहुत philosophical approach ले रहा है ये paper. So in this context, I would like to share that first time I had read Anudeep Durishetty sir's blog, which helped me a lot in framing my approach to the essay paper. Briefly, I'll share that approach with you. Every time I would enter the exam hall, I would keep the 3 Ds in my mind. The 3 Ds being one of dimensions, to always ensure that आपके paper को as multi-dimensional आप बना सकते हैं, आप बनाइएगा। The second D is one of depth of understanding. When we see a particular topic, we see that उस topic को every candidate will approach from their own point of view. A topic, something as abstract as happiness is in the path and not the destination, is a topic जिसमें there is no right answer. So in this, how do we differentiate ourselves? So that differentiation comes through the multi-dimensional coverage as well as showcasing a lot of depth in our essay. How this depth can be showcased? One factor is the attention to detail. आप अपने essay में जितना detail डालेंगे, उतना वो essay बहुत rich and बहुत ही unique present होगा. The third very important skill is to balance the art of argumentation as well as to showcase the skill of diplomacy. अब इससे क्या तात्पर्य है कि जब आप कहते हैं कि balance the art of diplomacy, कि आप ऐसे में ऐसा शोकेस कर रहे हैं कि आप में वो सारी क्वालिटीज़ हैं जो एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर में नीडेड है। आप एक टॉलरेंट इंसान हैं, यू आर समवन हु कैन कंसिडर मल्टीपल पॉइंट्स ऑफ व्यू, यू आर नॉट समवन हु होल्ड्स एन एक्सट्रीम ओपिनियन बेस्ड ऑन एनी बायस और स्टीरियोटाइप और प्रेजुडिस. So in that sense, showcasing balance is very important. At the same time, the art of argumentation refers to the ability to build and present a particular point of view. If there is an essay which says that, let's say, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, I might agree or I might disagree with this point of view, but जो भी हम argument रख रहे हैं, उस argument को हमें या उस opinion को हमें हमेशा reasoning, examples, facts से back करना है. तो yes, giving your own opinions is important. However, every opinion needs to be backed by solid reasoning, and every reasoning has to be supplemented with your unique perspective और opinion. इससे essay बहुत ही personalized हो जाता है. एक और चीज़ है, कभी कभार हमें essay hall में जाके, exam hall में जाके, we feel very blank right when we see the exam essay paper. So in this case, you should keep certain frameworks very handy जो आपको help करेंगे to brainstorm the flow of the essay. A very simple framework is the framework of what, when, where and how. Now these are a few dimensions जो आपको initial points generate करने में help करेंगी. Similarly, a lot of templates exist in the market. I would suggest कि आप एक preset template एक topic के लिए सोच के मत जाइए. वो सारे templates को आप अपने मन में रखें. As and when the demand of the question is, आप वो templates को selectively adopt कर सकते हैं. However, पूरा essay एक template पे hinge ना करें. For example, a popular template is of PESTLE, political, economic, social, technological, ethical, legal. But पूरा essay in dimensions में fit ना करें, तो उससे वो बहुत ही restrictive और repetitive sound हो सकता है. Rather than that, you can make a mix and match of multiple templates. Apart from PESTLE, you can also adopt the template of having a micro, meso and a macro approach. Start with analyzing the essay at a very personal level. कि आपकी खुद की लाइफ में let's say happiness का क्या रोल है. Then go on to greater spheres of your life, spheres around you in your society, in your district, in your world, or just keep increasing the scope of that argument. Similarly, one such framework that I used to always like to use is to make a reference to the past as well as to make a reference to the future. तो अगर आप अपना essay शुरू करते हैं एक reference to some historical story, let's say by अशोका और गांधी जी, तो आप end में एक reference ज़रूर डालिए अपने introductory anecdote का. उससे पूरा essay tie हो जाता है एक साथ में, बहुत cohesive sound करता है. And always end with a futuristic outlook. I believe कि one very important ability जो हमें essay में demonstrate करनी होती है, which has worked well for me, is the ability to showcase your eternal optimism. तो no matter how grim the actual situation is, हमें वो acknowledge करते हुए एक hopeful, optimistic and एक positive outlook showcase करना है. Because ultimately we have to show that we are capable of bringing about a change, and we also have the intent, we have a change oriented mindset. So this would be my approach to the essay. Apart from this, I had extensively relied on topper copies for this particular paper of the mains examination. Two topper copies that I would like to mention specifically. One is by Vikram Grewal sir and the other is by Gautam Vivekanand sir. I believe in those topper copies say I could help build my personal approach to the essay, the way they use certain anecdotes and the way they try to incorporate certain unique dimensions in the paper. And thirdly, I would also say that make your essay prep as enjoyable as possible, and I always preferred this approach of trying to include as many quotes and references from books, from movies, from TV series, any other pop culture that you are fond of. Apart from this, you can make your own repository of different anecdotes. You will see that whenever you try to rely on any coaching material, तो काफ़ी सारे anecdotes जो हैं वो repeat हो रहे हैं over the years, and उसमें there is no issue in using them. However, of course, differentiation will always be rewarded in UPSC. So I would urge that every weekend you can spare 30 minutes to 1 hour in trying to collect unique anecdotes, poems, unique quotes, and certain different kinds of, I would say, value addition material which can help make your essay very rich and different. I will now move on to the GS4 paper. The GS4 paper is one where I improved my marks this year from 110 to 123, and there are certain things that I followed which I believe helped me make this incremental improvement. For the static part of GS4, which is the theoretical part, I had made the red book of ethics as my base notes. Now on these notes, I then supplemented it with the videos of Mudit Jain sir, where he had shared a lot of theoretical frameworks. Now I would urge you कि ये जो सारे theoretical frameworks हैं, for example, different schools of thought, whether it is Aristotle, Plato, Gandhi ji, whether it is different religions, Sikhism, Jainism, जो ये सारे keywords हैं, आपको these must be at the back of your head at all times because questions in the ethics paper are very dynamic. So the ability to leverage the right kind of theoretical basis is very important. So these two were my base foundational notes. Apart from that, there is a YouTube channel by KM Pathi sir called Ethics 101 that has greatly helped me in tackling the situational part of the ethics paper. So whenever we see that in the case study portion there are situational dilemmas, so that is one aspect where you need to know how to build your argument. So for this, that YouTube channel helped me a lot. The third dimension of ethics paper is to incorporate a rich repository of examples. For this, there were two main sources that I referred to. One was the Better India website and second was the Leer website. These two websites have a lot of examples of wonderful initiatives by civil servants in India, and over time when you read these initiatives again and again, they will become a part of your subconscious memory. So you will be able to present those examples wherever it is relevant. One more thing I would like to mention is that ethics paper rewards creativity a lot. So try to be creative in your presentation as well. Try to have a notebook where you can make different kinds of diagrams in the ethics paper. I remember seeing a video by Animesh Pradhan sir where he had showcased a few examples of how he would make his own ethics diagrams, and that helped me make a few myself. So this is the third aspect. And the fourth aspect I would like to cover is one of the case study part of the paper, wherein a lot of times I have seen that our answers tend to be very similar to our peers. However, to add some layer of differentiation and to also ensure that we have met the demand of the question, what you can do is to always ensure that you have covered one, starting with the context of the case study, that why that case study has been asked in that particular year. To justify the context, a good thing to do is to leverage the contemporary relevance of that topic. Let's say there is a case study on managing disasters or managing man-made disasters. You can always leverage a recent example of, let's say, a fire hazard that took place, which makes that case study more pertinent. That is one thing. Second thing, I would say, find unique ways of representation of the same amount of content. For example, we all do stakeholder mapping in the case study, but what I used to try and do is to differentiate between explicit stakeholders and those that are implicit. So that adds a unique layer of trying to show that you have the ability to read between the lines and you are seeing beyond the surface. And the third unique point in case study which you can think about is to add examples not only from bureaucracy but also from beyond bureaucracy. So try to add different kinds of case studies that we see even in the corporate setup. Maybe in your own personal life you have encountered certain things. So that makes the case study very holistic. So that is one thing. Now coming to GS3, I think GS3 is one paper that is daunting for a lot of aspirants, including myself, and I think this is because of two main reasons. One is that GS3 covers the maximum horizon out of all GS papers, from economy to agriculture to disaster management and internal security. So we need to have a great breadth of knowledge. Second aspect is that all of these subjects are slightly technical in nature. So the challenge for us is to demonstrate that amount of technical knowledge and to avoid making our answers look very generic. So coming to my resources, for economy, I had kept my prelims notes which were based on Vivek Singh sir's book as my base notes. However, I felt they were insufficient for the demands of the question of GS3 mains. So two main sources I used to supplement them were the economic survey and the budget. If you have the luxury of time, I would urge you कि you read both those documents in detail. However, if you are short pressed on time, even a summary works. इसके लिए दो resources that I had used on YouTube were very beneficial for me. एक है आदित्य कालिया sir's videos on YouTube and एक और mentor जयंत परीक्षित sir's videos. ये दोनों resources ने मुझे बहुत help करी in gaining greater depth of understanding in a subject like economics. Now coming to environment and science and tech, I had referred to Dr. Shivin Chaudhary's free resources on his website, especially the one-pagers. And then coming to agriculture as well as disaster management, I referred to Paras Chitkara sir's videos on YouTube under the channel of Think You IS. So these were my resources broadly. एक और important resource जो मैंने refer किया था specially for last minute revision, which was the Shunya IS booklet, which has a compilation of all the data and the facts which are relevant for GS3. I made this booklet as my foundation, and I also added a few more data points, diagrams, schemes and case studies from other sources like the Mains 365 by Vision IS. So this particular document was my last minute revision document right before mains. This document I think helped me a lot in improving my score this year, because I felt that exam time mein we need that all the statistics and the facts should be at the top of our head. Only then are we able to reproduce them in the paper. So this was my GS3 strategy. Coming to the GS2 paper, I think this is one paper where I felt a lot of overlap with my optional, because my optional is PSIR, and however still there is a slight difference in the demand of both the papers. While optional requires you to go into greater depth in one particular dimension, I think GS2, like other GS papers, it expects you to be multidimensional. So in that sense, I had referred to Atish Mathur sir's Magna Carta course, which he did freely on YouTube. I had watched a few of his lectures, and otherwise I had relied on the notes that he had put, the one-pagers, because they acted as a very concise but information rich resource for GS2, especially for the polity aspect. For the international relations aspect, I had referred to the Vision IS Mains 365 document along with my optional notes for international relations. And third, for governance and social justice, I think it is one topic that is more dynamic, and it is also a topic which doesn't tend to be very scoring because we ignore it or we write answers that are not very rich in content. So iske liye I tried to make my own notes purely based on Google as well as ChatGPT. I referred to a lot of Niti Aayog reports on governance and social justice. Apart from that, I tried to make all of these answers very case study heavy. So in any kind of dimension, whether it is health or education, I think if we add not only statistics but also different kinds of case studies which have, one, the models that have proved to be effective, and secondly the models which have worked overseas but would need special adaptation in India. So adding such layers in your answer makes it actually deeper and more multidimensional. Coming to GS1, GS1 is one such paper which has the maximum overlap with prelims prep. So I would suggest that prep for both mains GS1 and prelims can be done side by side. For this year, I had referred to Madhav Agarwal sir's notes to cover the history and the art and culture dimension. So ancient, medieval, modern as well as art and culture. Sir has uploaded his notes on his Telegram channel, which I felt cover every topic very comprehensively. For certain topics that I felt the need, I added certain diagrams as well as maps from Nitin Singhania sir's art and culture book. And secondly, when it comes to society, this was one dimension I personally enjoyed studying a lot, and I used to find it a low hanging fruit in mains GS1, and it is one portion which gives you the maximum chance to write unique answers and to actually get that edge over your peers. So I had referred to the Vision value added material as my base notes, which is available on the Vision website for society. Apart from that, I used to keep adding something from any editorial or any article that I used to find online. I would urge you that whenever you prepare a certain topic from GS, when you are preparing notes, try to always Google what is the latest that is happening in that topic. If there is a latest instance, example, case study, and try to add those recent examples. What in my personal experience, what has happened is that a lot of our content has stagnated. So whether we refer to coaching material books or any other kind of content, it is almost stuck in time. So it is our personal prerogative that we have to take कि हम अपना material बहुत updated रखें with time. Coming to geography, geography में NCERTs were my base notes, and उनको मैंने supplement किया one with Asad Zuberi sir's diagram handbook, in which he has covered all the diagrams comprehensively. I also referred to this channel by Amit Sengupta sir, where he explains all the concepts very well. So that helped me improve my conceptual clarity in geography. And I would also suggest that for every GS paper, you try to find out what are your strengths and weaknesses. So accordingly you will be able to prioritize कि आपको कहाँ time dedicate करना है. Now these are all the free resources that I used. However, I would also like to mention a few paid resources that I felt helped me. One is the Forum MGP or the mains test series that Forum has. I found that the quality of the answers in the test solutions is very good, and there has been significant repetition in the actual mains paper from those test series. So that is one resource that helped me a lot. Secondly, I would also like to say that writing tests, getting them evaluated is a helpful exercise. However, always try to self-evaluate the tests that you have written. And mains for me personally has been an iterative process. आप notes बनाइए, revise करिए, write as much as you can and spend a lot of time analyzing your answers and coming up with certain micro improvements. So rely on external evaluation selectively for guidance, but also stick to your personal writing style and always keep in mind that you are your own best judge. This is for mains. Now coming to prelims, again I would like to mention a few free resources that helped me a lot. When we come to polity, of course the base is Lakshmikant. Apart from this, I had referred to the ISPCS Pathshala channel on Telegram, and sir has presented a few documents which actually summarize the important parts very neatly. One is an active recall sheet which can greatly help you enhance your retention and recall for polity based questions. Second is a summarization of the major schedules as well as other certain errors that we tend to commonly commit in prelims. Coming to history, of course the NCERTs form the base of history. However, I refer to this guidebook called Lucent for history, in which particularly for ancient medieval, I felt that although it is a very fact heavy and dense book, I felt that reading it again and again did lead to retention of certain important facts, which helped me answer a couple of questions in the examination. For modern history, I had referred to Spectrum, and I made my own notes out of Spectrum, and also I had referred to the notes by Rishabh Kumar Rewar sir, and I felt that across art and culture, modern history, ancient and medieval, his notes act as a very good ready reckoner for last minute revision because they have all the important points ready. For conceptual clarity for history, I had referred to Level Up IS videos online on YouTube by Vishal sir, and I felt that he communicated everything in a very interesting fashion. And now coming to geography, I had made my own notes based on the NCERTs, as well as I had referred to Amit Sengupta sir's channel like I said before, and I also feel that for prelim stage I have utilized the PT 365 by Vision extensively. I would suggest that you do not need to spend hours and hours cramming it. You have to be selective in reading it. However, I think in my experience I have benefited from it, so I would urge you to revise it at least a couple of times before the examination. Coming to economics, I had utilized Vivek Singh sir's 550 question handbook because I felt that while reading text of economics helps you understand to a certain extent, it is only when I solved questions in sir's books that I actually could point out the gaps in my preparation. So वो जो 550 questions हैं, they will cover most of the conceptual dilemmas that you will face in prelims pertaining to economics. Coming to environment, science and tech and IR, I had mostly referred to the Vision PT 365 for covering these topics, but I had also referred to Dr. Shivin Chaudhary's videos as well as free resources that are available on his website. And lastly, to cover government schemes, I would suggest that you be thorough with the newspaper. You will have an idea of what schemes are important and in news, and also you can cover the relevant PT 365 for this topic. There is one more resource for prelims that I would like to highlight. There is a channel on Telegram called IS Exam Congress, and I found that their projections help us, especially in the last few weeks, outline the most important topics. तो आप उनकी predictions और उनकी projections को follow कर सकते हैं as a benchmark to understand कि आपका syllabus completion किस extent तक है. Coming to the next part of prelims, which is CSAT, being from a non-STEM background, I invested a reasonable amount of time in making myself ready for CSAT. And I would like to emphasize कि CSAT जितना आपकी preparation के बारे में है, उतना ही आपके performance mindset के बारे में है. To improve your performance in the exam day, especially with pertaining to maths questions, I would suggest practice is the best way forward. A lot of times हम CSAT में एक trap में फंस जाते हैं, which is of watching lectures and reading material. However, until and unless we practice those questions real time, I think it will be hard to see a lot of progress. So, two resources that I would like to mention for CSAT. One is Rishabh Sir by Only IS. I had referred to his videos online and they helped me a lot in understanding all of the logical reasoning as well as the mathematical topics. The second resource is the formula compilation by ISPCS Pathshala, and it has all the formulae compiled in one particular place that you can refer to last minute. Thirdly, for reading comprehension, I would suggest that you go through the PYQs, solve those questions yourself and try using the elimination method. A lot of questions in comprehension can simply be solved if you read the question first, then read the paragraph and then try to eliminate whatever questions can definitely not be possible, whatever options. So this was my broad CSAT strategy. For prelims, I would like to also highlight 3 traps that we often find ourselves in. The first trap जो है वो है if one of passive learning. I think it is tempting to watch a lot of content or to read one piece of content repetitively. However, हमेशा ज़रूरी नहीं है कि उससे आपका recall में aid हो. So what is important is कि आपने एक बार अगर एक text या एक note पढ़ा है, उसको आप test ज़रूर कीजिए. That test can be in the form of mental recall or it can be in the form of writing more number of mock tests. The second trap I feel is always looking for shortcuts. And you will also see that right before prelims a lot of marathon videos and a lot of videos for tricks and mnemonics will come into play. Those videos can be very important. One, sometimes they help us in confidence building, they take the pressure off our head, and secondly, maybe certain tricks you can actually use in the exam, certain things like mnemonics which help you remember neighboring countries, let's say, or the membership of certain organizations. However, I would urge you कि आप इन ट्रिक्स पे solely rely नहीं करिए, आप अपनी knowledge को हमेशा एक foundation रखें and these tricks can only be one of the instruments in your arsenal but not the entire arsenal itself. So this would be my advice. Now for the last 30 days, a good strategy can be to one, focus on static very well. Ensure that you are not getting any question wrong from static because ultimately prelims is a game of minimizing your silly mistakes. So most of the serious candidates in prelims know more or less the same range of questions, but what differentiates our marks is on that particular day, are we able to get the easy questions right and are we making any silly mistakes. The second most important thing you need to do is to train yourself to retrieve information at the same time for that duration of time. For example, every day at 9 AM, if you practice answer attempting, especially the PYQs, it will help you be in a much more active state on the actual prelims day. And also, always practice CSAT in the duration in which you have to attempt CSAT on the final day. And always train yourself to build some mental stamina for prelims. हमने देखा है कि the prelims actual day is a very demanding day, not only physically but also mentally. The weather is very oppressive as well. तो आप अपने आप को ट्रेन करिए ऐसे एक कॉन्टेक्स्ट में पेपर अटेम्प्ट करने के लिए वेयर यू हैव द एबिलिटी टू फोकस फॉर 2 hours एट अ स्ट्रेच without a lot of comfort that is present in our house. I think that will help you build a lot of mental stamina. So this would approximately and broadly be the guidelines that you can follow for prelims. And like every other stage, prelims is also an iterative process. You will see that the more number of questions you attempt, the more number of PYQs you do and the more number of revisions you undertake, you will see your accuracy improve. But one other thing that can help you improve your accuracy in a shorter period of time is to do a lot of analysis of your past attempted papers, a lot of analysis of the text of PYQ's language. See what language does UPSC use to make a particular option wrong or right. Conducting this analysis can actually greatly shorten your journey and take you to the end goal much faster. So this would be all from my side with regards to prelims prep. So in the end, I would just like to tell you that mountains are only mountains until you climb them. So whichever mountain that you are standing near today, just have faith in yourself that the obstacles that you are facing will become the path in the future. and what is standing in the way will become the way. So I would say that first we need to remove the psychological barriers that we have within the brain, and the path then keeps carving itself. And so thank you, my heartfelt thanks to DKT for giving me this opportunity to share my journey with you, and I wish everyone the very best in all their future endeavors.